Hi guys, welcome back to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host Athena Silver. Tonight we are returning back from holiday break and we want to wish everybody a really happy New Year's. It's been a crazy holiday season this season, and that's why this week we are going to talk about and tune into our psychic gifts for this upcoming year of 2022. So bear with me, we'll be right back. And we're back. Let's get started. So today we're talking about our psychic gifts. When I'm speaking about psychic gifts, I'm talking about all of us who know the clairs, the clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance. There's a bunch of different clairs, and they all talk about different psychic gifts and different ways of experiencing psychic sensation. So just like we have the five senses, hearing, vision, taste, smell, touch, we have that as well with psychic abilities. So when we talk about clairvoyance, we're talking about clear sight, our second sight or second sight, which is tapping over and seeing things that are going to come, like premonitions or visions, or they could be speaking to spirit and seeing them and seeing the signs and the messages firsthand. If you have clairaudience, you're hearing, you're clear hearing. So that's hearing the word of spirit, hearing, the angels or the angelic beings, hearing people say messages to you, or you may hear a song or a movie or something that reminds you of something in that way in the realm of sound. I have a really powerful story about that, dealing with one of my family members when I had a spirit that basically yelled at me to pay attention, and I heard it very clearly in my clairaudience, and I knew exactly the time that something happened to this individual because of that sign and that yelling literally that happened. So yeah, we all experience it very differently. When talking about clairsentience is just this feeling of knowing, like you just know it. Something's going to happen, just like that uneasy feeling. There are quite a few psychics that have been recorded in history that have this kind of clear knowing before, like natural disasters, like volcanoes and earthquakes and things of that nature. Their stories are very interesting. So if you ever get a chance to look into it further, I highly recommend it. Talking about claircognizance is like that thought form that pops into your head, like having that like forewarning kind of feeling. But yeah, these are all different ways that we experience psychic interaction and connection through our senses. So the way I perceive it is like we have our regular senses, and then our second senses are layered on top of that. I've had this sensation, which I can really only attribute to about a synesthesia, whereas some of these lines and connections get crossed, and I might, experience sensation in two different ways through my psychic ability and my regular senses at the same time. It's always really weird when that happens. Anybody else who has had that experience themselves, please comment on this video. I would love to hear your stories, because I haven't really come across that many people that have had that synesthesia effect where you're having, you're battling your second gifts with your, regular senses. So very cool. So yeah, we all have these gifts. We're all born with the ability to connect into these gifts. Some people are naturally gifted and are born with this sense or tapped into a few of these extrasensory perceptions. I am one of those people myself. But some of these other people they can learn these skills, and they can also tap into them through training, which I have also done as well. A lot of my natural gifts, I have formally trained them on top of it to get better control over them and to figure out how to use them. So yeah, it's well worth the practice. It's well worth the research. It helps you to understand yourself in a much deeper capacity and realize that we are all really truly cosmic beings being connected through different realms and through different, space time and all of that. Getting into quantum physics will definitely, explain some of the phenomenon that us psychics and mediums here experience. Even people that are considered, empathic, they're getting that clear feeling, but they're experiencing and processing through emotions, which can be very hard to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It can be very emotionally draining and physically draining as well. Having to care all day, every day about things that really don't even pertain to you. It's exhausting. So my heart goes out to all of the empaths out there. You got a rough gift that you have to contend with. It can be a beautiful gift when you know how to use it and how to protect yourself. Because sometimes you do need to protect yourself from your gifts and to learn how to process that energy so you're not overdoing it or wearing yourself out. So that is very, very important when working with your psychic gifts. So today I want to talk about my top 5 ways to strengthen your gifts, to work with them and practice them and develop them ultimately. These are all tried and true methods that I use myself, that I've been engaging in and developing for many years. Some of these everybody might know, but some of them I don't think you do know. And so I really would love feedback. If you guys try out what some of these techniques, please hit me up and comment and let me know how it goes. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. The first tip I have is to identify your strongest psychic gift. The one that feels natural, that's always kind of been there and that's easy to tap into. Once you can identify like the first gift that you have that's the strongest, you can gear, how you develop towards that gift and cater to it. Because, for instance, I myself am a seer. So second sight, clairvoyance comes very naturally to me. It's something that I feel like I kind of always had it there, and it doesn't take much for me to tap into it. So anytime I go to practice, I usually start there because it's the easiest, most direct way for me to practice. So I'll gear it towards really visual techniques and visualization and seeing things and conjuring images and things like that, because clairvoyance is easiest for me. I also kind of look at my psychic gifts through that lens as well, because it's my primary gift. We all have that one that's just a little bit stronger than the other. So I would say start there with your training and gear it through the lens of that gift first. Because even when you have multiple psychic gifts, your strongest gift is the vehicle to process the other gifts as well. So if you have like clairsentience, you just have that feeling. You might feel it, and you might feel it through sound recall or something like that. Like, it can be used in multiple ways, but you'll always experience it through your primary gift, in my experience. Let's say make sure that you're continuously engaging this gift throughout the day. Again, mine is clairvoyance. So I might use my ability to see and tap into it periodically throughout the day. Like if I'm out in a large crowd of people doing a little bit of people watching, I might use my gift to tune in to see what I can see about the world around me and the people around me. It's a great way to practice, and it's low key. So you can kind of do it throughout the day, and not everybody, is realizing what you're doing. You could do it covertly. Just maintain boundaries and ethics. Don't, trample all over other people's privacy and free will. If you're sensing a place in general, that's respectful. But if you're going up and you're talking to strangers and bringing forth messages that they didn't ask for, it can get very tricky. So my suggestion is keep this information to yourself until you're ready, because people are able to say yes or no with their energies, and it's not right to connect with people without their permission. This also goes for trees and plants as well. But we'll get into that. I would also say to meditate. Meditation is really key. Now, I would say meditation to balance yourself as well as figure out where your true north is, where your alignment spot is to where you're perfectly in your body and balance. Like step one, state one, what you are at your resting state. Because when you start adding messages and vibrations and feelings you're getting from other people, it can complicate things. So when you know exactly what your neutral state is, you can tell, well, what is me and what is this outside stimuli that's coming towards me, and what do I need to process from there? So it's really important that you check in. Also, I would say it's a good thing first thing in the morning to kind of center yourself and check in for the day. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Does anything feel different? How are my energies? Am I feeling emotional today? What is that emotion? Figure out what's off, and it'll help you better understand yourself, and grow within who you are. All spiritual growth starts with you, and it starts with your base neutral state. So number 3, play games with your gift. Challenge yourself, play games with yourself. I like to solve puzzles. That's one that's really good. Like solving, like if you're clairvoyant, taking a puzzle, don't look at the puzzle, just solve it intuitively until you get the picture, and then you can see if you're right. Another great thing is when you're watching like a TV show or movies, to stop it in the beginning and write down the predictions that you have. Stop it in the middle of the movie, write down your predictions, see if you're right, cross off anything that's wrong, and then do the outcome of the movie. Because a lot of times you will predict what's going to happen in this movie that you've never seen, because you can see the vibrations and the patterns before it happens, because movies mimic real life. So it's a great way to practice and hone your skills. You might just see this character and get that feeling of like, ooh, something's going to happen. Take note of it and see if you're right. This is also really good when it comes to like using your gifts in a way of like an organized structure, but take like playing cards and put them all face down and sit and meditate on them and hone into what they are, and use your extra gifts to hone in on what that card is. You might see flashes of red, so it's a red card. You might see, hearts, or feelings of love, okay, it's definitely the heart suit, now you may see, 3 chickens. So, okay, it's the 3 of hearts in a red card. The more you practice, the easier it is to tap back into this. But yeah, these are really useful skills, but make it fun. You're not going to practice and study if it's not fun. So challenge yourself in different ways. Again, you try to cross multiple gifts, multiple senses to see, where your strengths are and how you can develop things further. But it's a lot of fun. This one is practicing connecting with the energies and the essences of trees and plants and animals, but you have to do that respectfully. You need to, if you're going to try to work intuitively with a plant, you need to ask the plant's permission before you begin. You need to connect with the animal and ask permission to connect with its energies. Say to the plant, I want to learn more about you. Do I have permission? And intuit the answer, because you will get a clearer feeling one way or another. Just you're going to have to process it through your psychic senses. Sometimes you'll get an absolute green light, yes. Sometimes you'll get a hell no. But when you do, you respect the answer, and find another plant or animal that you can connect it with. Now, you can ask them politely. Another thing I would say when you're connecting with their energies, having a nice conversation, keeping it very respectful and honoring what they say as their own free will having beings, just like we are. And ask at the end, make sure you're thanking them. Make sure you're being polite and ask them, how can I honor you? What can I offer to you in thanks for, this work and this conversation? and you have the power to say no if it's something crazy, but ask them for some alternative that you can honor. A lot of plants will ask you to plant some more of them, in another spot on your property, or they might ask you to leave some tobacco or bird seed or food for the animals. Just ask them, because it's always good to reciprocate and that energy and that kindness that they're showing you when you do connect with them. It helps you connect with all of these beings, because they all carry divine essence and divine energy, just like we do as humans. So respect them, because we are all family here on Earth. Number 5 is take notice of the patterns around you. There's a lot of things that happen that continuously happen in a routine kind of way. We know the mail is going to be here on a certain date at a certain time. We know what time our garbage comes for collection. We know that if we say this phrase, it's going to get this kind of reaction. So it's lining up these patterns and seeing the nuances in between the patterns, because a lot of times there will be things that it is done a certain way, and this is why it's done this way. And by seeing the beginnings of it, you're able to intuit what's going to come next. This also will help you when interpreting signs and symbols coming from the spirits. I suggest that you buy a good dream interpretation book, because you'll notice a lot of those dreams and interpretations in those books, a lot of those symbols translate the same way in your waking hours through your psychic gifts. If you keep seeing a red house, it's going to mean the same thing as it does in the book. Our dreams are just mirrors of our waking life. So you'll make connections that way. So yeah, getting a really good dream book is helpful especially for my clairvoyant folks out there, because we see patterns in the way of symbols. A lot of the messages that we receive as channels and mediums come in the way of fragmented signs and symbols. So having a good dictionary on hand, so you can kind of look up real quick and see what you see, is going to help you develop the language of spirit, because that's really all dream interpretation is, and these symbols are. They're a language for spirit. It's just spirit speaks in these bite-sized pieces, and sometimes we've got to string them together to develop the idea of what's being said to us. But keeping a journal, writing down these experiences, if you keep seeing pennies from 1976, sit there and meditate on it and ask your spirits to give you the answer to what this means, and write it down. We have patterns all around us. Everything around us is made of these patterns. So it's when you can kind of pick them out and see, it helps you see what is to come. So it helps you with predictions and premonitions and visions. So those are my my ways to develop. I hope you guys enjoyed them. All of these 5 techniques have been things that I've been doing myself over the years that have given me a huge benefit on my spiritual path. And I really hope it helps all of you. Again, if anybody wants to tell me about your experiences with the psychic gifts, please comment below and let me know. I would love to hear the stories that you guys have. Again, I'm Athena Silver, professional psychic medium. I do different readings like tarot, mediumship, and different spiritual services on my website, readingswithathenasilver.com. If you want to book a reading with me, please do it through my website. My Instagram is at athena.silver. My TikTok is at Athena_silver. And my backup account for TikTok is Queen Athena Silver. And my Facebook account is Readings with Athena Silver. Hey, and I wish you guys a fantastic new year. We're going to have some amazing guests on the show this year. A lot of cool authors, a lot of cool spiritual people that I know from the community, people I know you guys are going to love. If there's any topic or any host that anybody would like to have and request on, please shoot me an email. You can watch full episodes of Rebel Crow Psychic Show for free at our website, rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. We're also Full episodes are available on YouTube and on all major podcasting apps.